stating you should say meeting about to start. I'm gonna put it on main camera view. Any change?
Yes.
Good? Yes, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday, July 8th, 2026, Fluvanna County Regular School Board meeting. We're going to reconvene back in the open session. Mr. Rickhouse, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone, please be seated. Ms. Christ, we have a certification of closed session.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
Mr. Burnett?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Rittenhouse?
Yes.
Dr. Garrett, is there any items coming out of closed session?
No, sir.
Okay, on to adoption of the agenda. I will entertain a motion for adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move we adopt the agenda as presented.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Brendan. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of adoption of the agenda, please say aye. Chair votes aye. On to the consent agenda. Is there anything we would like to be pulled separate?
Mr. Chair, before we make a motion, can I confirm with Mr. Brennan that you came in after roll call in the last meeting? That you're able to vote for the minutes?
I came in during closed session, after roll call's closed session.
Perfect. Okay, Mr. Chair, I would like to move that we approve consent agenda 6A, review of monthly claims, 6C, approval of minutes of the prior school board meeting, and 6D, approval of the overnight field trip, where we can have discussion after a second as needed. Just 6A, 6C, and 6D for the moment.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kelly. I will entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda, item 6A, 6C, and 6D. All those?
You need a second,
I'm sorry. Thank you.
and then discussion, especially if
Is
field
there
trip.
any further discussion? Any discussion?
By us approving this, are we approving the overnight field trip?
Yes.
This is the chance to talk about it.
Yeah,
I would like to talk about that.
okay.
Yeah. Do it now?
Yes, discussion, yes, sir.
Is that any cost at all to the schools? No. I couldn't see that in the information you in the packet. It wasn't feel very, very good, but
But let me pull up what you, so it's the last paragraph at the bottom. All expenses will be paid.
Yeah, I would suggest maybe we take a look at that form and maybe revise that form where it's a little bit more
A little easier to read.
user-friendly and easier to read.
Okay.
yeah, as long as it no cost to the school, I'm okay with it.
That's a whole lot of money they raised. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Through fundraising efforts.
Yeah, that's right.
Is
It really is a wonderful opportunity for them as well.
there any further discussion?
I'm sorry, I just wanted to, if it matters, they attended this same trip in 2019 and 2023 as well.
And then the two kids were state champions too of video. I'm sorry, I forgot what it was called. So all those in favor of approving items 6A, 6C, 6D, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Dr. Kelly,
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve item 6B, approval of personnel recommendations.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yeah, I can second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
No discussion, just a gentle reminder for anybody who wants to abstain to do so. If you haven't had a chance to look at anything or if there are other reasons.
Right. All those in favor of approval of 6D, please say aye.
B,
I'm sorry, 6B, yes, sir.
Bravo.
Please say aye.
Aye.
Chair abstains.
Need to ask for his, Mr. Edmonds hasn't voted yet, so you want to get a.
Mr. Evans, did you vote?
On the personnel recommendations.
I did. You don't want me to?
Let's abstain if you,
But it's because someone's name's on, yeah, I vote.
you abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You
You should abstain on this one.
Oh, I should have said, yeah, okay.
Yes.
That's what you said earlier, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that makes sense.
So I
3
I'll do it
ayes and
again.
2 abstain.
I think that is 302.
Yes. And the only reason why I abstained because I showed up a little late. I didn't get a chance to look at the recommendations.
Little Robert's Rules fun for everybody.
All right, on to 7A, delegations. Mr. Bauer. Come on down.
Thanks again, Joe.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for entertaining my speech again. At the last meeting, the board approved to move forward with the Abrams project. We thank you for that. The approval was on a Wednesday, and the contractor started construction on Monday. Just from a time standpoint, I don't know that we could have done a better job in finding a contractor who's absolutely 100% on Fluvanna team to make this happen. So S-Works, I said, has been absolutely fantastic. Just from a general standpoint, they almost all of their submittals are in. We'll talk a little bit about where they are in construction. I did update the cost of the project. If you remember the last time, I had a little miss on the that has been corrected, including the construction contingency, the furniture and equipment, and the AE design fee, which didn't change. So again, the scope of work that we're talking about is all within that $1.8 million, which was our maximum budget. So we can go to the next. So just from a scope of work standpoint, this sheet is the demolition. So again, the spaces that are in peach or orange, those are the ones. The top upper plan is the floor plan, and the lower plan is a reflective ceiling plan, which is the ceilings. So again, this shows you the scope of work. The areas in white are areas that we're not making any improvements at this point for this phase. Just a couple of images for construction-wise. They started work on, I want to say it was on the 15th of June. And they started demolition. We were able to expedite the approval for demolition. So all the abatement is done, all the demolition is done. What you see here, so where you're standing at, to the right would be the vestibule with the reception and with the secure vestibule and the reception area. To your left would be the large group room, and straight ahead of you is the classroom area going down the corridor. So you can see they've removed the ceilings. They've already started framing. These pictures are as of yesterday. At the end of the day yesterday, they were done with all the framing. So that's all the exposed metal studs. The next image, now we move further down in the corridor. So on the right-hand side would be your classrooms. So those are actually the new openings for the classrooms. Again, there's 5. We're taking 3 and making 5 out of them. On the left-hand side would be the toilet rooms. So again, you can see all the ceilings around because we're replacing those with new ceilings. And again, we're going to have, so we're going to be expanding the number of classrooms and having them appropriate size for the groups that are going to be in there. The next image, now we start to get in and show you with the classrooms. You see in the distance there the windows, the metal stud walls that separate the classrooms. again, that they were supposed to be done with the metal framing at the end of the day yesterday by their schedule. What you can see here is they've already started putting gypsum wallboard up yesterday, so they're actually a little bit ahead of their own schedule. And to date, they have absolutely been fantastic to work with. Very much, bring in any challenges that they have. The good news is once we're through demolition, usually the variables start to reduce. Like, oh gosh, hey, there's a rainwater conductor here that we didn't know about. So the good news is we're beyond that point. So the next one has the next slide has another classroom. This is the one that at the very end. This was the old library. So again, what you can see here is the metal studs are up and the gypsum wallboard is up to be able to separate this and make this 2 classrooms. And then the last slide, the last picture slide, these are the toilet rooms. So again, what we had is we had large multi-stall boys and girls toilet rooms. Unfortunately, the administration of this facility did not desire to have multiple students go and potty at the same time, as you can understand. So the challenge was while there may have been 6 stalls, only 1 student go potty at the same time. So by what we're doing here is we're actually going to have 4 student individual toilets. So it's actually going to have more ability for students to go potty not together, but to be able to go at the same time of the day. And we're going to be having 2 individual toilets for teachers, which is also going to improve their experience. So what you see here is you're actually standing in the workroom, looking at the back side of the toilets, which we would access the 2 teacher ones from this side. And then the very last slide is the schedule. I know that was a concern from the last meeting. So again, on June 10th, which was just a month ago, the board approved to move forward. Just 5 days later, they started construction, which is absolutely fantastic. So they've already wrapped up the abatement and demolition. They started framing. So over the next couple of weeks, they're going to be doing gypsum wallboard. They're going to be doing casework, doors, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough-ins and systems. What's going to happen is on August 12th, which is your first day of school, okay, they will cease construction work during the day. Okay, so what we've asked of them is to have the 5 classrooms completed, along with the 2 student toilets and the reception security area. That's what we've asked for them to be completed by the August 12th, by the first day of school. So what they're going to do then is any work that is left to be completed, they're going to go in the evenings on the weekends after that point, with their own schedule having them completed by August 27th. So really by the end of August, they are going to be all done and wrapped up. Punch lists will be completed, and they're going to be off the project. Which is absolutely fantastic. Again, I can't say enough good things about S-Works. They really have been very much a team player and doing everything they can to make sure that this project is successful. So any questions on where we are with the project? We are very pleased. I don't want to speak for your current. What's Rob's title? Is it director? What's Rob's title? Is it director? Silverman?
Supervisor.
Supervisor. I don't want to speak for your supervisor, but I heard some positive comments that he seems very pleased on the amount of progress. And again, our goal is to get this as complete as possible before school starts, and then we will shift to an evening and weekend work to wrap it up for the last 2 weeks of August. But again, everything that the contractor has done so far, all their promises, they fulfilled in every single one of them. So, any questions or comments? Any thoughts?
I'm happy with the abatement, that went smooth and swimmingly, I guess. Always a concern in old buildings.
Mr. Bowers, do you have any idea how much asbestos they ran into? Pipes insulated with asbestos?
So yes, the majority was floor tile. So a lot of the floor tile was hot, so that was removed, and there was some insulation on there. The positive note is that there wasn't anything that wasn't already known from the standpoint of the original contract, except for the pucks. So what you glue chalkboards on with. Okay, so if you've ever seen chalkboards removed, they have little discs, that are there. Often those are hot. That was the only thing that was found that was not already known. We call them pucks. It's kind of the term. But yes, so again, everything that in the sections that we were in was removed. So again, well, we didn't go outside of our scope of work, but everything that was in there. So the only thing was not known was the pucks behind the chalkboards. So.
Thank
Any other questions, thoughts?
Anybody else got any questions?
Looks like it's moving.
Excited to,
I'm excited
excited
for
to
the
see the new building and for our students to be in it, and it's great that we're able to make that transition when the kids are back.
Thanks for the photos. It does show a whole lot, so I appreciate it.
Yes, yeah, I'll be happy to do the same thing again next month, you know, which will be almost wrapping up, so
Awesome.
So you'll be back next month.
if you'd like, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Okay,
to see the progress.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, going to public comments. Come to the time in our meeting for public comments. I remind one that by policy, only members of the community, meaning residents of Fluvanna and staff of Lake County Public Schools, may address the board unless you're a legal counsel representing group interests in tonight's proceedings. We welcome all community members who are here to give informational opinions. We'll ask you to come to the podium, tell us your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing nobody's here, we'll close the first round of public comments. On to 9A reports, Dr. Briggs.
Thank you, Mr. Key. If there are any questions you have from the report, I'll just highlight a couple of things. The C&I team, curriculum instruction team's been hard at work planning for the forthcoming year, new teacher orientation, back to school, professional development, and all of the scheduled meetings that happen during that time, including a lot of work to plan what I'm sure is going to be a very exciting convocation. Really well received. It was very well done. And we're faced with trying to meet or top that, and I think we will do that. So it should be a good event. We'll give you some more information there as it comes out. We are going to be transitioning from board docs to diligent, and there's quite a bit of detailed information in here Ms. Kreitzer has provided just to give people a little bit of orientation to that. There'll be a full implementation of that October 1, and you can see what it will look like.
Mr. Gratz,
Yes.
I know that the schools pay a certain amount for board docs. What does diligent cost?
Ms. Kreitzer, do you have an update on that?
It's gonna be about the same, maybe $1,000 more. But we get a discount through BSBA since we have a membership. So it's only gonna be, I think, maybe $1,300 extra for this. But we joined board docs in 2011 or 2014. So they're just now migrating to new systems.
So staying with board docs is not an option, correct?
Not an option. Okay.
And it appears like it's gonna make your job and others easier, better system.
I'm hoping.
That's what board docs are supposed to
Right
do.
now, the implementation is a lot to migrate over.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it will be a lot more user-friendly.
Hoping the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah, but what is nice, and we can talk at the retreat too, I have a training each week with them, on different features. And I can bring you more information at the retreat, just as informational. But the new features are gonna be like a calendar of all of our events on one page. All the meetings, you'll see everything, on the page like it is. And then there's also an option if we want to have public sign up prior to, and then it'll be projected when they get here. So it's a lot of different features, but I'll bring you more information.
What's that public comment button? Oh, sorry, I think so I was curious what the public comment button was and to what extent it'll have functionality.
So the community can actually subscribe to Diligent to get notifications on when there's a new meeting. Then the agenda's been posted, when there's been a change, when there's been a cancellation. If they're at home and they wanna sign up for public comment, they can click on the public comment button. They're already on the sign up sheet, so it'll take them to the paper copy. And when they actually come in person, it will be displayed in Board Docs Diligent program where it's more user friendly.
Got you, so a sign up,
It's
lovely.
electronic sign up. Then the feature will have our Facebook page, all in one location, YouTube. I'm excited about it, but again, new program, it could be some glitches.
Thank you, Ms. Kreitzer. We've been planning the Back to School Bash. Just a reminder, that's August 8th. And so we have a lot of vendors. There's opportunities for volunteering. If anybody's interested in volunteering, we do need a lot of help to pull that off. There were more than 30 families that attended the open house at Central, the pre-K open house. That was a very successful event. You'll get more information here in a few minutes on the state budget, but it has increased SOQ-funded salary support from the 2% that was in it to begin with to 4% for 27 and 28, so over the biennium. And we will be presenting climate data to you every year we do that. So we did the survey, we've analyzed the data, we'll present that to you in August. We had a nice increase in participation, and I would say is a nice increase in, I guess I'll just call it overall satisfaction, but as you know, that's reflected in some more detailed ways. So we'll bring you all that data in August. Do you have any questions for me from the point? Anything that you'd like me to go into that I did?
Our facility study, where are we with that?
We had a meeting with Wolpert to go over that, and we will present that to you in August as well. I was kind of hopeful we'd do it tonight, but I just wasn't able to get up to speed in time to do that. But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Great.
But we do have it. So it's been delivered, it's been finalized. And present findings to you in August. I should have put that in here.
I'm always gonna be a pain about those things, just because it's planting seeds for long term. Thank you.
I think 9C, Dr. Grace.
Board members, so these are the July policy updates, and just a reminder, if you click on the slides, these just kind of give you an overview of what to expect. So policies are reviewed as they need to be reviewed, as legislation changes, as, they can be done that way. They're also mandated to be done every 5 years. So every 5 years, whether there's changes in policy, practice, legislation or not, we will get an updated policy, reviewed policy. So oftentimes the revisions to these policies are really minor, changing from the word shall to will or things like that, things that really are just syntactical. I would say that all of these policies that are in this update are like that. They're all very minor. They're all listed for you, and you can see, as you go through them, they're redlined, so to speak, so you can see what's changed. I do want to address one of you, I can't remember which one, I think it may have been you, Dr. Kelly, but somebody asked if these policies, when they come to you for final review, could have the holes filled. So for example, where it says blank school board, it would say Fluvanna County School Board. And Ms. Kreitzer can explain this better than I if we need her to, but the VSBA, and they give us our sample policies, has changed the template that they use for these such that what Ms. Kreitzer gets on her end is no longer, she can revise them, but when she revises them, the red line disappears. So for you to see what's been changed and for the public to be able to track easily what's been changed, we don't really have a way to do that. I'm happy to work on it more, and I'm happy to answer questions. I don't want you to feel like we're ignoring that request.
I don't think it actually was meant.
It may not have been.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought somebody had asked that.
I think my one question, and it relates to your PowerPoint, was a forcing mechanism to ensure that policies are updated and or reviewed every 5 years. It sounds like the VSBA has an internal clock on these,
They do.
so that's the forcing mechanism
And
that,
that's one of the things that you pay that fee for.
so as long as we don't forego adopting a policy by their review, we catch a revised policy every 5 years.
That's right.
Or are served one, maybe is probably the right way
And
to say
there are
that.
examples of those in here. You'll see policies where nothing's redlined, nothing's changed. It's just, it's the 5-year mark.
That's helpful to know, cause I had a moment of, am I really gonna ask for Ms. Kreitzer or someone else to go through all of our policies and figure out when the last time they were updated are?
That would be difficult.
It would be laborious.
KBC, if it's of interest, is an example of one of those. There's nothing changed in KBC, but, okay. Any questions for me? Anything you'd like to discuss with those policies?
I just heard two new great reasons to continue to stay with VSBA. One, the discounted pricing as it relates to the new board doc system. And two, the forcing mechanism on auditing our policies. Like those are things we do not want to be responsible
And how
for.
many total policies do we have?
I don't know, Ms. Kreitzer, do you know how many total policies we have? I really don't know.
I can tell you after I do my presentation.
Okay.
But I haven't touched every single one of them.
I know not that long ago, when they all used to be in a binder, it was about that thick.
Yeah, it's over 80.
Okay.
I'm gonna definitely
No, I'm just,
definitely tell you after I do.
I was just saying to Dr. Grant's point, it would cost a lot of money if somebody had to touch it.
Continually audit them.
If I can make a note, like if you guys.
That's a position, that's a position.
From the SBA and have the attorney write them, the SBA no longer gives you samples. They take everything we've done away and you actually have to start from scratch. So.
I got you.
Yeah.
You mean that they own the text of our ratified policies, such that we're even in our,
We would keep our policies, but they are taking
No
away.
samples.
yeah, but no additional updates yet. So we start with our existing baseline. Yeah,
Create a nice position to do that. Yeah,
it
that's
would
a
be
lot-
expensive.
Not a lot more than what we pay. All right, Dr. Grant C, I think you're still up.
Yes, okay. C, this is the budget update for fiscal '26. Dr. Stribling, could you pull up, what do you want to start with? The PDF, first one? Budget
The
updates?
second one is fine.
The budget updates. The bottom link. Yes, thank you.
So we're still definitely actively closing out FY '26 as we're trying to open up FY '27. We've got several end of year items that are still needing to be reconciled. We have July written in June this month. We've still got summer school payroll and retirement payouts. We've got some pending encumbrances, 2 months of sales tax that still hasn't come in, and then about $100,000 of federal reimbursements that we're still waiting on. But based on current projections, including projections of those 2 remaining state sales tax revenue payments, we're thinking we're gonna be around $1 million in fund balance on either, so maybe a little under, maybe a little bit over, but around $1 million. That is separate from current projected carryover balances, so we are projecting we're gonna carry over about $230,000 in federal grants. The bulk of that is within our special education. We've paused reimbursements for those right now in order to make sure that we meet MOE for local and state. We've got about $2.1 million in local carryover, but that is 1.
we meet out of pocket?
Sure, sure, we'll meet MOEs, so, and that's kind of a balance of, right, we have a certain amount that we have to pay for local and state funds towards SPED, and to make sure that we do that, we will not then take reimbursement from federal.
Got you. So it's not about gross spend, it's about the net that comes out of our coffers?
And it's salaries, so right now, we're gonna pause on reimbursing from salaries and let them come from local state monies. In the final template for FY '26, we actually got almost $200,000 more in special education funding for FY '26, so we're not gonna do those planned reimbursements from the federal dollars, and we can carry those over till next year.
That was my other question about sort of whether the access to those reimbursements are in jeopardy because we need it to. Wonderful. What an intricate system.
So then if there's no more questions about FY '26, then I will have more definitive numbers next month, once we all those outstanding things resolve and have a more firm carryover number.
Yeah, I guess I do have one last thing. So like $1 million is actually quite a healthy number and is larger than what I've recalled over the 7-ish years that I've been here. Like that's a pretty sizable one. I know that some of the ways that the fund balance again eaten down historically were through unplanned things like keeping our health system well balanced. Are we, obviously we're past the point at which we would spend this money anyway, it's not ours to spend. Is our health system in a place that you would consider healthy account-wise?
Yes, so we are ending, and then we'll be starting at a really good place with health insurance, so that came in a little bit under where we were anticipating. The other thing that I think, and typically I think it's been between $400,000 and $500,000 that we've carried over, so but something that we remain pretty strong with enrollment this year, and so I mean that can be a difference, right? If you go down in 50 kids, that's almost $400,000, right, in unrealized state revenue. So ended up in a good place for that. And then, you know, of that approximately $1 million, the bulk of it is in the instructional category, and quite a bit of it is in like different material and instructional material lines. So
these were just things that we ultimately did not need to order.
yeah, and we had a bulk of it too, was we've never done that before. We had carried over $200,000 in that textbook money from last year, and so the money that we had budgeted for that for this year we didn't need to use because we had carryover money. So
were there things that we were slated to purchase that we were unable to purchase in this calendar year due to just like inability to procure or procure on time, any of those things?
I would say operations is the one area that we definitely have a long list of things that, and that category looks like it's has lots of money. I think it's right now there's like a $2.1 million available budget, but remember that's all that Abrams project money. So that's the one line that I think just in terms of like feedback from different departments and schools is we've got a lot of outstanding needs for facilities.
Sorry, are there things that we functionally budgeted for that we'll need to, that we should be asking for carryover because they meet the like burden of the county, which is in the budget, anticipated but unable to like finish by the end of the year?
I think there was like a mower request that was outstanding that didn't get ordered, possibly. Is that what you're referring to?
So there's nothing specific that
Nothing
the board
specific.
included and intended to be budgeted,
Yeah.
but isn't going to be
I
able to
see.
be procured.
Yeah. I was just trying to think, just because it's such a
Sure.
large number. And so, and none of the 1.8 Abrams money is in the return fund or anything like that.
So some of it we've been able to, because they started the work, and we did receive some invoices to pay in FY '26, but it was minimal. Of that 1.8, I think 1.6 we're gonna carry over to FY '27.
Got you. But that's not part of the 1 million in return.
No.
That's separately from the 2.1, right?
Correct.
It's a astronomical number. I'm happy to be on the good side
I
of it.
guess it could be a worse scenario.
A lot of what I've heard today is things that I remember the negative side of them, so I take a win when it comes.
I have a slide, I can't put my hands on it. One of the presentations we did during the budget development this year included a slide that had a historical look at turn back figures. I just can't put my hand.
Yeah, I think you usually do that like every time when we talk about turn back.
We should have some leave asterisk next to this one.
I can bring that and include it next.
No, just it is a great number and a number that is in alignment with like our goals and ideals is to budget for what we need, get what we need, turn back what we can, and in a year in which we also give a bonus to be able to turn around and give $1 million is fabulous as well.
$1 million sounds big, but it's still what, 1.8%, it's less than 2% of
I feel like
a
I've
very
already
large
heard that tonight.
budget, so.
I 100% hear you, and it is great when we are on the positive side of that 1%.
Any other questions, board? Ms. Suarez?
No, thanks so much. I appreciate
No,
it, as
fabulous.
always.
And then for FY '27, so as Dr. Gretz mentioned, all the conversations during budget season that we were hearing was between 2 and 3% for House and Senate, and we ended up with 4%. So they have released an updated calc tool for Fluvanna. It is estimating, projecting about an additional $900,000 in state funds. I do want to point out of that $900,000, $100,000 of it is earmarked for we're fiscal agents for Project Return in Governor's School. So $100,000 of that is for those purposes. But the biggest increase is for compensation of about another $345,000 to do an additional 2%. So what was in the previous governor's budget in December was for a 2%. That's the additional amount in order to do a 4%. I think it's varied year to year. There is no flexibility in terms of we couldn't do, and it's for 4% for this fiscal year and 4% for FY '28. You can't do a average of 8% over the 2 years like some things we've been able to do in the past. It has to be 4% this year, so you couldn't do 3% this year and then 5% next year and get access to those funds. There was some language around it being prorated, so that is additional to do the 4%, but there is still money in there, right, for compensation if you did a 2 or a 3.
I see. So it means that like right now, today, we know that for next year, when we go to the Board of Supervisors, we're going to need, so regardless of the Board of Supervisors, by comparison to our current budget, if we are not cutting other things, we're going to need our share of a 4% raise going into next year.
And so to do an additional 1%, so we already are budgeted good for 3%. In order to do an additional 1%, it's going to cost about $460,000. So you can, offset that then with the 344. So it's essentially you would though have to find within your budget another $116,000, right, to do the 1 more percent.
That's for this year.
It's for FY '27.
And then for next
And
year.
then for next year, we want to make sure, well, to
next
at least
year-
budget for 4%, I suppose, and hope they don't change it to 5. No, I don't know.
So you had already gone 1%, your budget you approved was already 1% more than the state revenue reflected, so you don't
Seems
have
like
as far down.
That was lucky. Dumb luck and a goal of paying our staff as competitively as we can. But it also means that information on the 4% for next year, to the extent that supervisors are not listening now, or Mr. Dahl, who hopefully is on vacation and not listening now, those are the things we need to communicate to them like this month, so that we're like way ahead of, hey, it's gonna be 4% next year. Like, we have almost a full year for them to be aware of this, and like it would be inexcusable for us not to communicate well that it's coming.
the additional, outside of compensation, right, there's very specific categories, right, that additional money has to fit into. And then again, this is just a projection on enrollment. Again, it looks like, if you were to do the compensation, and not account for governor, school, and project return, right, you might be saying you have an additional $450,000 in state revenue, but that's only if your enrollment holds steady. If you were to lose 40, 50 kids, you would not have that.
And this is just my own commentary for what it's worth, but I think this is very positive. Not because it's more money, because of the way it's being distributed. You all know that I am part of the Coalition of Small and Rural Schools. We've advocated for years that the most equitable way that the state could distribute its funds to localities, whether you're small or rural or urban or huge, is through that at-risk add-on. It's the fairest thing to do. If you have more at-risk kids, it costs you more to educate them. It doesn't matter how big you are and they finally did that. And I think that is a very positive move.
Could you define what an at-risk student is?
Well, I'll define it the way the state does
This
in
was
the calculation. It's a great
This
question.
was an unfair and bold question, however,
no,
to the extent that you can.
I don't necessarily, I can't tell you, people would describe that a lot of ways. The state uses for its definition essentially, it's basically free and reduced lunch population.
But that shouldn't be anybody now because you get free lunch, right?
Those who would qualify.
We still have that
Yeah.
percentage. It's not used for lunch prices, but we still have a free and reduced rate.
So it's based on manifested need.
Poverty.
And is this like
Family income.
based on, is it based on Alice households effectively? Or is it based on applications for free and reduced lunch or?
No, well, go ahead.
Because we don't, right, now
There's
that
a
we
no longer do
participate,
this.
we're not allowed to even collect free and
Yeah.
reduced forms. There's a whole bunch of different metrics that they use, I think like TANF and.
Yeah, there's a federal poverty line.
So
I can't tell you how that's calculated.
Okay, so it's
There's
some combination of income-based and or federal and state services.
there's a cross-section of data to support that, economically disadvantaged, students that come from economically disadvantaged households, students that have disabilities. There's kind of a cross-section that is oftentimes the common denominator. I'm not speaking for the state
Yeah.
on why that's how they do that.
Are there comparative statistics available by division as it relates to this manifested need?
So
That
they
number?
use that ISP number that we use to get our reimbursements for the free meals. They use that number, which is TANF, SNAP. They weight it with a multiplier, it looks like. So
Gotcha.
students that were direct certifying for that, that's what the district was looking like. That's what they use.
Is it possible, we don't need to belabor this now, but is it possible to send a link to something that might have comparative statistics by division? Or, I don't know if they're publicly, I imagine that they're published because they ultimately drive like public formula. But if you guys,
Definitely if we put our hands on one.
They do have, VDOE on their school nutrition page has the ISP. You can see the ISP rates for each division.
and
know
that
that.
should be theoretically correlated with this bit
The
of,
at-risk add-on.
this bit of at-risk funding. Okay, thank you.
So is there any discussion about what we would need, whether it comes by way of an official vote or just consensus from the board for us to move forward with the addenda that would need to be processed for contracts in order to apply that additional percent? It doesn't have to be done tonight. It can be done tonight. It doesn't have to be done tonight. Whenever you do it, we would just need to have time to make all those adjustments so that they could be reflected in the forthcoming paycheck. the full amount would then be prorated over the remaining months whenever the decision was made.
Yeah, I would suggest put it on the agenda for
As an action item?
Yeah. August.
Almost like a first read tonight, go through it all.
But it is good news that it only gonna cost a little over 100,000.
Because we almost planned, right?
We'll discuss that on the August 12th meeting.
No, we'll vote on it.
Oh, we'll vote, I mean, yeah, that's all on August 12th.
Yeah.
Discussing, but
Discussing,
Yeah.
yeah.
But be prepared.
this is functionally serving as a first read / recognition in public that we both will receive additional funds from the state and possibly expend some of them towards recurring costs for salaries.
All right, any further discussion?
Thank you, Ms. Suarez.
Thank you, Ms. Soares. Thank you, Dr. Brooks.
Thank you.
All right, on to 10A, unfinished business. Board, is there any unfinished business?
I don't know any right off, but I would suggest to all the board members, I don't know whether you do or not, look at all the invoices that are turned in and you'll be surprised at what's in there, how much money goes through per month through the schools. But I counted them up, 117 different pages of stuff, so some of those pages are blank, but I counted what was in the sections. It's rather shocking, really, but it takes a lot of money to run a school.
Does indeed.
While they're burning $20,000 of fuel oil every month. But I know it's been explained, or somebody tried to explain it, that they need to burn the humidity out of the air for the air conditioning. That doesn't make any sense to me. But
I'm happy to bring an explanation for any question that any of you have.
can you explain that?
I can't now, but now that I know it's a question, I definitely can in August.
You have to get the big commercial heating and air person that can tell you that.
I'm happy to work on it and bring you an answer.
Well, you don't do it on my account. I've heard it before.
All right, is there any new business? All right, on to, yes.
I don't know if the staff do or not. Maybe just pause for a sec, give them a sec.
Oh, sorry. no.
Anything.
All
I just
right,
wanted to give space if, since we're in new stuff. If you have anything, that's fine.
all right, on to action items, 12A. Approval of 26-27 parent resource guide.
Make a motion, we approve the 26-27 parent resource guide.
All right, is there a second?
A second.
All right, thanks, Mr. Evans. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor of approval of 26-27 parent resource guide, please say aye. Aye.
Next.
Chair votes aye. On to 12B, I will entertain a motion for approval of VSBA Fluvanna policy updates presented in the June meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, thanks, Mr. Brennan. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, thanks, Mr. Rittenhouse. Is there any further discussion?
Can we just get a refresher for us and the public as it relates to the cell phone policy? So as best I recall our conversation last time, we went through large debate a couple of years ago. I think it was before the Fork Unions you turned over, as it relates to like what is best for our division, and we had some capacity or autonomy to make decisions. We no longer have those. We no longer have any autonomy in this. Like, we must adopt a policy according to the state statute that's in alignment with it.
That's right, and the salient change is that it removes instructional time from the definition of bell to bell. So the restrictions on cell phones were bell to bell during instructional time. Now it's bell to bell, period.
Any further discussion or any other?
I appreciate that. I just wanted the public clarification because as implementation and or enforcement of policies come up, this isn't something that we're given any sort of choice into, and so it may take some adjustment.
All those in favor of approval of the VSBA Fluvanna policy updates presented in June 26, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Alright. On to 12C, approval of the VSBA Fluvanna policy updates presented in July 26 with minor changes. Can you define the minor changes, Dr. Grants?
So the minor changes are the ones that I just went through. They're just, changing shall to will is what I have in my mind. They're all syntactical, or a code reference might change, and so that reference would change. There's no meaning.
Change 25 to 26 on almost every page, I guess.
Right, things like that.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to
Thanks.
approve the minor changes.
Thanks. Really, do I have a second?
A second.
Thanks, Mr. Evans. Any further discussion?
I was just gonna, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I was just gonna remind the board, we're approaching this a little differently. We're trying to separate the policies that don't have changes that are substantive so that you could have more time and the public would have more time not to sift through all of those. If at any point that doesn't work for the board, if you feel like you'd rather go back to the other way of doing it, we're happy to do that. I just wanted to highlight that this reflects that change.
I enjoyed it like this for what it was worth. It was a lot easier to digest, so.
I do find it useful also for everyone at home if read them all if our definition of substantive and yours are different.
Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor of approval of VSBA Fluvanna policy updates presented July 26th with minor changes, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, on to the public comments. Seeing that nobody's here, I will move on to school board member comments.
Mr. Chair, could I, with the board's permission, could I revisit my superintendent's report? There is an item that I inadvertently left off of there.
Yes, sir.
that I just feel like I would be remiss.
Put your name on the list for public comment.
I can do that. 123 out of there.
Sure,
And I'll make it very brief.
Take your
The board
time.
doesn't have to act on this.
got plenty of time.
We have, the school divisions oftentimes partner with what I'll call a physician of record. For years in Fluvanna, it was Dr. Keller. And the physician of record enables us to administer Tylenol, things like that at school. There's kind of I'm not explaining this well, but like a standing prescription, if you will. I think it's unclear whether EpiPens are part of that. He's retired, he's no longer gonna do that, and we have been faced with replacing that service. It was free before. It's very unlikely that we're gonna find a way to accomplish that for free. We've gone to the health department to see if the Blue Ridge Health Department would do it. We're consulting with other divisions to see what they do. I just wanted to give you a heads up that I will likely be coming to you to let you know that we're gonna have to spend some money to continue to do that or not do it anymore. So it's really just an information item.
Okay.
I'm sorry I left it off before.
So the implications of that are that should we not procure another service, that we would be unable to provide over the counter or specifically does this include giving a kid albuterol when they need it?
No.
If the student comes with their own doctor prescribed prescription,
Uh-huh.
we can administer it, but we had a standing order where that doctor of record would issue his own prescription in order for us to administer Tylenol, as long as the parent signed off, right, in the back to school registration that they gave permission for that. You know, we don't have to call a parent and say, is it okay? Parents don't have to bring Tylenol, we just do it and hopefully the kid stays at school without a doctor to do that standing order. And not every school division has one, so some school divisions, right, then revert back to, it becomes kind of like a personal prescription, right? If you want your child to have Tylenol at school, you have to.
Does that mean that the school is then responsible for handling several hundred bottles of Tylenol, one from each family?
What is that,
Absolute nightmare.
what is that prescription list inclusive of?
As far as I know, it's just that there's been some discussion of EpiPen. The other thing that I think probably the bigger thing that it provides is protection for our head nurse and our nurses, right? Because
Right.
if something comes up and, you know, they really need to consult a physician, right? That person is on call and they're, I'm not sure what it's called, but their medical practice insurance, right, covers them as doctor, then giving directives, right, to our nurses.
Medical direction.
And I think there is an implication for the doctor who takes that on, that they're, you know, conceivably could have to increase their
Their malpractice.
Yes, that's what it's
Yes,
called now.
The inherent liability of malpractice.
Which, I'm just saying that because I'm not sure anybody thought of this. I mean, Dr. Keller, I think, has been doing it for a long time, and he just did it pro bono. And now we're realizing that
Expense.
other people may not do it for free.
Yeah. Can we ensure we reach out to those who are practicing within the county,
Yes,
especially
absolutely. I think we
the
are.
Santaras and
Yeah.
the what have you that are already part of our.
Yeah, but also to the county. I mean, we have medical direction for our EMS, for our
That's a
emergency
good
medical
point.
dispatching has an OMD attached to that. I mean, we have, this isn't a new concept, right? So perhaps we piggyback on what Fluvanna County is already doing with their OMD and their protocols.
That's a great idea.
What is our deadline to make this transition?
Well, Dr. Keller hasn't been in that role for about a year, right?
But the difference is he hasn't, well, he has and he hasn't, but he did the prescription before.
Oh, I
He hadn't,
see.
so now that prescription is expiring, so if we don't have something in place before students return,
And is that something that we would need a called meeting in order to give permission? We obviously have a August 3rd, which is a public meeting. Should we have a quorum for that? We have August 12th.
not necessarily, I
I
mean, we
don't
don't
think so.
do it. But we have been looking for people and reaching out to doctors within Fluvanna County and, you know, costs are estimating anywhere between $20,000 and $40,000, and we've reached out to Centera as well, and apparently that seems to be the going rate in that span, so so it's just a big amount that was not budgeted for.
When, as we explore this further, could you all bring to us sort of what is included in that sort of like list? So not to make this like terribly transactional, although it functionally is, like, what is it that,
What are we paying for?
what are we getting? Yeah.
That seems like a lot of money to give kids Tylenol. Like, if there's more to all of it,
Well, I mean, inoculating our staff against,
right, the protections and the,
Not necessarily think about when you go to a doctor visit, I mean, how much that costs. He's basically
right,
doing a doctor visit.
or can we?
well, that's not the case. The physician is
Not
not,
as a physician order, but still.
the physician isn't coming to our school and seeing the child. The-
Right, it's just
the
their-
nurse is issuing.
They provide the direction and they have the oversight.
But it does sound like it's been pretty minimal over the years that our head nurse has needed to reach out, so.
Is this a year-to-year thing?
And so is there also
Like an
the,
annual cost?
Yeah.
and so is there the option to look around and see if any other locality, I know you said,
Louisa, Goochland.
yeah, and
there's
see,
right, not every county.
right, but do they have some type of protocol to reach out to the parent? Like, so obviously, if we have this program in place, we're providing the Tylenol, right? It's here, and we check with the nurse gives it to them because the box is checked on their back to school paperwork. Is there some type of protocol or procedure that we can adopt with notification to the parents at an emergency number, and then the parents still approving the nurse to give that to their child? Can we look at
Yeah,
that?
I don't know.
I think
There
the
could
parent though
be.
still has to provide the medication.
And that's what I'm asking. I don't know.
There could be. Well,
We can't be the only ones facing this,
sure,
so.
bring you that information in August.
Appreciate that.
Sorry.
No problem. Thanks, Dr. Blake.
Just a quick note, do we need to go through the motions on public comments because it's on do you technically have to open and close? I'm unsure if it's on the agenda, if we need to go through the kind of.
Yeah, I said public comment, seeing nobody's here.
Okay. If that's good enough, that's good enough for me.
Sounds good to me.
All right, school board member comments. I'll start to my left.
Looking forward, I think we've all gotten a handful of calendar items as it relates to having our new hires in the building and then ultimately convocation and so on and so forth. There back to school bash, a ton of dates forthcoming in August. I am optimistic that I will not be traveling, and to the extent that I am in this county, I will try to make every one of those to my best ability. So I'm excited for all of that. As you all have probably heard ad nauseum for 7 years, the happiest day of my year is when our kids are back in the building. That's because I know that they're getting fed, especially in the last couple of years here, that they have access to and are being mentored by our staff and our teachers. And so I am increasingly optimistic and excited to have them back in the building. And excited to sit down at a table with you all on the 3rd during our retreat, and then again on the 12th as a school board during our regular meeting. So lots to look forward to.
Thanks, Dr.
Thank you.
Mr. Evans.
Definitely like to thank Mr. Bowers for the pictures and the updates. That's something that I think all of us were concerned about or anxious to see. It looks pretty good, informative. I'm just looking forward to the finishing touches that he'll present to us on the 12th. And just piggyback on some of the things that Dr. Kelly said. Just looking forward to moving forward and getting the kids in a safe environment. And the summer's basically over, so,
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Mr. Brennan.
But yep, 10 things. Summer, I blinked and here we are. Got our school supply list the other day, and my little girl was picking out her new backpack today to start kindergarten. So it's super exciting in our house. Can't wait. I am confident she will be terrified and not get on the bus the first day, but we'll see what happens. Really excited for the retreat, to just, I think, stepping out of here, still all being together and have some good discourse and conversation. I do have a little bit of travel coming up with the military. I intend to be virtual in September, most likely. I won't be back yet, but I should make pretty much everything else in August outside of convocation, I believe. So again, I always appreciate you guys working with me with that. But super excited. Back to school bash is always an awesome time. And just my shameless plug that our Fluvanna Fall Festival is starting to gain steam again this year. I want to keep growing the school's involvement in that and figuring out how to better provide for that. So look for signs to start going up, and I hope to see everybody there.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan. Mr. Rittenhouse.
Yeah, thank y'all for your information tonight. I know it does take a lot to keep the schools going. It just seems like, I know I'm living in a different time period. Maybe I grew up different than most of y'all. I know I'm older than everybody in here, but it just seems like a lot to keep things going. That's all.
Thanks, Mr. Rittenhouse. Yeah, just piggyback on everybody else said. I'm excited school's about to start. Looking forward to the bash and just seeing the school buses go by my front yard. All right, 15A VSBA newsletter update, upcoming events. Please check your calendar for upcoming events. Fluvanna County Public School press release and upcoming events. Once again, just keep looking at your calendar. On the 16A, adjournment of the meeting, I will entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Mr. Chair, just real quick, just because Mr. Brennan mentioned it, I believe I might also be remote in September. And so as we sit down at the table in August, let's make sure we count heads and availability, and if we need to move something, then we'll move something. I'll be out of the county.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Or retreat, yeah. I just
Talk
wanted
about
to
retreat.
put it out there. If I say it, then maybe I'll remember it next time and we
I'll bring it up again too, so.
won't catch it by surprise. Thank you very much, and sorry for the interruption. Thank you.
All right, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Rittenhouse. All those in favor of adjourning by meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Meeting adjourned.